Boogeyman band coming round the bend. Is Boogeyman band. Is Boogeyman band.
Going throughout all of theatrical and performance history, so that's why I think it, and that's why it transcends countries, language, everything. So anyway, that's plus the fans, of course, but that's my opinion.
Darcy DeMoss, ladies and gentlemen. The question is, Darcy, why do you think?
Well, we're going down the line. It is what makes this franchise so endearing for the 45 years, in your opinion.
Okay.
What makes it, what accounts for its staying power? By all means, where were you? I'm sorry, go ahead.
Nancy.
It was Nancy.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going straight for the fans, straight for the talent, but I want to say fans first because I had no clue how wonderful fans could be. And I'm actually very shy, but around you guys, you bring something out in people, and that's incredible. And the mind that did write and direct this had a little help. He doesn't talk about the movie writing and directing, but it was fun watching him create something, because Friday was not my favorite kind of movie to go see, and the way he changed it with the humor and with the gothic horror and bringing it all together, and you guys recognize that, and that's huge, and it elevates everything. So all the movies are uniquely, one-offs. You don't have to see them all, but this one I particularly love. The series, I think, is grand, but it's always because of the fan. So I give it to you guys. Intellectual.
Well, building on what everyone said, because I agree with everything that all of you have said, but I'm going to give it not to you, Cindy, because I am a professor now. I gave up acting and became a professor of folklore and mythology. So I'm going to go in that direction a little bit, because I think one of the enduring reasons that this whole franchise lasts is because it taps into our common nightmares and our common hopes, our common experiences, things like going away to camp, things like having friends and being afraid of losing them. Things like, what goes bump in the night? Scary masks, who are these people? And also
Under your bed,
yeah, exactly. And also because you made it, Tom, you made it more supernatural. Because it's in ours that Jason becomes supernatural. He becomes like a Frankenstein revenant. And that taps into a whole other stream of fear and spine tingles and other things. So I think it just keeps reinventing itself to match all of our collective nightmares. And I want to give a shout out to the fabulous cast and crew, because we had such a wonderful time and everyone's so good. And you guys are fabulous.
You guys are great.
What made the franchise do? I think definitely the mask. I think that there's a lot of accidents that happened along the way when they were filming, and became an iconic thing, picking up the mask because it was happened to be on the set at the time. Everyone who played Jason, I agree with everyone else they said. Also, the game created a whole new genre of fans, because the kids who shouldn't really watch the movie, if you're a good parent, until like 12 or 13, they become fans of the game, and then they can get, when they get older, they can watch the movie and become fans of it. I know so many kids who haven't seen the movie, but they're like fans of Jason. Machete, the machete guy, or the hockey mask guy. It's just amazing. So, and then Tom brought the franchise back, in my opinion, because he had all these things he had to hit. He had to have all these deaths, and Jason had to be in it. But weaved in all that, he had relationships, and we really cared about the characters. There's a little romance going on. You got to know the characters, so there, you were moved when some of them were killed. But
You know,
Someday.
Most of them.
I just want to say quickly, thank you for saying that, because my daughter has been bitter at me for years because I made her wait till she was 13 to watch it. And thank you for just saying that. I was
I've been watching for 17.
There you go.
So what made the franchise so endearing?
Yes.
That's the question.
enduring.
Enduring?
In your opinion, enduring.
Oh, okay.
It's enduring
Well,
45 years.
I feel like, especially for the fans, there's so many relatable characters in the franchise. Either you're like one of the cool kids or you're one of the nerdy kids. And then, you know, one of the nerdy kids gets to go kill the cool kids. Or there's always something that somebody can take away from the different characters that are in the film. And Jason, that, you know, killing everybody, and it's kind of fun and exciting. But of course, you guys make it all worthwhile for us. And yeah, this franchise has just been incredible. And now we've got this. Everyone's bringing their children in, which you guys had mentioned, and then we've got a whole new fan base, which is pretty incredible. So it's just become iconic. I mean, I could be in Africa and I'll mention Friday the 13th, and they know exact hockey match. And people from Australia, you know. So it's pretty cool to be part of this. And shout out to our director, Mr.
Fucking son of a bitch, but he was fine being down there. All the great monsters, you know, have said that. You know, Love, Dead, Hate, Living, Frankenstein. To be really dead must be glorious. Dracula. Wolfman wasn't happy being Wolfman. So I thought, you know, Jason was cool down there. He brings him up. So now anybody in his way, on the way to get to Tommy, is gonna go down. And, you know, so that he had the agenda. Tommy fucked up, so he's gotta figure out, how do I unfuck this situation? What do I do? And finally, he finds a book, which very much like the poltergeist theory, that, you know, the bodies are still down there, just remove the headstones. So he thought, we gotta get him back in the lake where he originally drowned. So they both had something that sort of moved the story along, which I think, you know, made a real difference. But again, other than the fans, these are the guys that made the movie work. Pure and simple, you know. It's Frank Capra once said to me that it was a people-to-people medium. If you like the people up there, you'll like the story in the movie. And that was a real
You
blessing.
gotta root for him,
Yeah.
or boo at them, depending on the character, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You also, I mean, it was so well written, you did infuse it with a dose of humor that the franchise was lacking, because you need that levity, I think. I mean, you even put in an existentialist joke.
Yes.
And every time the no exit was phenomenal. So, yeah, just well done all across the board.
Want to know how smart I was? I got a script a few years later, I guess it was, called Scary Movie. And I start reading it and I go, I kind of already get this. So I gave it back. Every other script I read was shit. 6 months later I went, is that the script, that Scary Movie? Nah, Wes Craven got it.
Yep.
He'll do a great job, you know. Well, of course, then the irony is, years later, you know, I meet the
Kevin Williamson.
the writer.
Kevin Williamson?
Kevin Williamson. And we're talking and stuff, and at the end of it, he said, I gotta tell you something, your Friday the 13th is what inspired Scream.
Oh, wow.
I'm sure it did.
Well, yeah, you were breaking the fourth wall, you know,
Yeah.
some people.
But think of all the money I lost! No,
And that
no.
happened many
God bless
times.
him.
He turned down things all the time that made lots of money.
You never know. You never know.
You don't know.
You never know what's gonna work.
You don't know.
You never
It's like lightning in a
Shoulda,
bottle.
coulda, Prada.
There's three kinds of movies, the ones you write, the ones you shoot, and the ones you chop together, and you just never know until that's all.
Low. And I get to go in ice cold water to take a shower while everybody's nice and cozy and warm, having lunch. And so I soppingly wet, literally. It took 3 weeks to get the mud out of I still had it in my ears, my this, my that stuff sticks to you. It's freezing. And it really does. Actually, he does feel sorry for me, for many reasons, but I don't think he felt sorry for me
How
doing
many,
all
what
this.
about how
But he
many
was
takes
brilliant.
did the director make you take?
Well, there was a regulator.
Yeah.
My head was viced under the mud,
Yeah.
and the mud was going down. And I thought, oh, I have to do this. I have to make it wear it. And so I'm about to die, so finally I raise my hand. And so they say, oh, the regulator was broken. So we changed regulators. A new regulator, put that in. vice her head, and we gotta get the shot, we gotta get the shot. I didn't know I was claustrophobic. And I'm not, until they vice my head underwater.
That would do it.
Yeah.
Well, hold on, was that after or before, in shooting order, the near miss with the spear?
It was after the spear.
So you actually did, after the near miss, I'm surprised you got in the
I still
vice.
did.
Yeah.
I still did.
You're a trooper.
Because I'm a trooper, and no, I didn't get a bump in pay. No, they didn't use the proper glass that cost a little more. No, they didn't use the fake spear. No, she didn't. She'll move, she's fast. And praise God, it used to be my business. Literally this much.
When it came through the windshield. yeah.
Some people aren't as happy that it was. I happen to be very content that it missed me. And Jason was wonderful. CJ Graham was really held off about the whole thing. He just kept saying, "Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I almost killed you." Imagine.
You know, when the blade hit the windshield, it slid over a little. I
Yeah.
don't know if you
Yeah.
noticed that in the
Yeah.
movie. But that was fortunate, because otherwise, he threw it with such force, it was going through the window, you know?
It was awful.
But it was a great death.
A great.
Great.
Well, I didn't die.
Yeah,
I
she-
just want to say,
Well,
you
she-
don't know I'm dead.
You don't know, but at least we saw what happened with your character. Sadly, Harry, even though we had that brutal, what was it, the throw through the window, if
Yeah.
I'm not mistaken, which I'm going to assume was a stunt
Wonderful.
person
It was a stunt,
anyway.
it was a stunt person.
Then
You had a stunt.
I didn't know about it.
her death was completely off
Yeah.
camera, but I wonder we did see the aftermath. There's a shot where you walk in and the place is just painted with your everything.
And I had the bloody death, and I cleaned it.
Yeah, but it was off camera, so what do you think happened
Well,
before?
we've had an ongoing conversation for decades now
Oh,
about
love it.
this.
Sure.
It was like 30 buckets of stage blood. I was kind of bummed at the time because like Renee Jones got like a fake head, and like people got like you had this thing with the head. I was like, I don't get any body parts. I'm not. Where's my cool thing? But then I kept saying to Tom, "Hey, what did he puree me? I don't see any body parts. I think I survived. I think I'm bride of Jason, and I think I should come back because no one knows where I am. I know. Yeah,
took
exactly.
you and then he took you.
Exactly. That's not happening. That's obviously my story. But yeah, when I auditioned for this, I was lucky enough to get it. It was my first horror movie as well, and it was my first like larger part in a film. But I hadn't watched any of the other Friday the 13th, so my sister like loved them. So I had to call her, my little sister, and I was like, okay, tell me what the story is. I don't even know the story. And so she filled me in on everything. I'm like, okay, I can do this. But yeah, I was stupidly ignorant. I had seen Halloween, which scared the crap out of me, but I hadn't seen any of the earlier Friday the 13th. So thanks to my sister, I had background info.
Yeah.
And then when we had the cast and crew screening in LA, I brought my sister to see it because I thought she'd be excited. And right before my death scene, she leaned over to me and she said, "This is the moment I've been waiting for my whole life." Because I'm her big sister. You know? But I am eternally grateful that I got to do this. I loved the part so much. I loved everybody. And then I got to hang out on set for like a week because you were holding me for an interior scene in case it rained. So I had nothing to do, and I had to keep on the night schedule, otherwise you're really messed up. So you also were hanging out. So we hung out, like for a week, we went into Covington and went bowling.
A lot.
We played Scrabble. We would
A
go
lot.
to join everybody at the
Cindy,
camp
I'm
for
sorry.
lunch.
Cindy, I'm sorry.
But, and that was great too, because I also got to talk to the crew members, and I learned a whole lot more about what people actually do on a film set. I knew all about theater, but so I learned what grips do and gappers and the best boy and the key. So I got to talk to all those guys, and that was really, really helpful.
Go on.
We do have a bowling story that's pretty hysterical.
Do you want to
Spill it.
You care?
It's hysterical. We had to stay up all night, so we go to this bowling alley or this dance club. We couldn't understand on a Thursday night, 3 o'clock in the morning, it was packed. Anyway, so was the bowling alley. So the bowling alley is packed every night, and I see this little girl, maybe about 3, a couple of nights there, and it was just a cute little girl. Well, one night I go to the restroom, and I'm washing my hands, and out comes this cute little butt. I said, "Would you not look, please?" And this is during McMorton time.
Yeah.
So all I'm thinking is, "Where's your mother?" Can I get your mother to wake your mother?
The Hollywood actress.
From
touches
Friday the
inappropriate
13th.
Yeah.
touches
Molesting
child
a
in
child.
restaurant, yeah.
It was so awkward.
Well, yeah, she came, and then she came back out and told us, and so that became our catchphrase. We would just say, "Would you wipe my butt, please?"
And the next woman that did come in, I said, is this your daughter? And, no, I went, could you stand here and watch me?
Come on, Tom.
Yeah, well, Tom, I mean, when this movie came out, you know, the fans, you know, we'd already seen the Return of the Living Dead by this point.
Yeah, it was a year.
So,
a year
and back to
before.
back, yeah, so at that point, to us, you were a god. I was like,
Yeah.
talk about, was it based on the strength and
I, like everyone else here, except for, you know, people who didn't have to go through the casting process. Went through casting, Fern Champion and Basker, and got a call back, went to Paramount, and I read against 2 other guys, or 3 other guys, and then I landed the role, and then I asked Tom years later, because I thought maybe Return had something to do with, the success of Return had something to do with him casting me, and he said, no, he hadn't even seen it, so.
I still haven't.
That was- It's a great movie.
No, he walked in, he was the guy, and once he read with Jennifer, I knew.
Heather Jarvis, yeah.
So,
Did you feel a lot of, was there a lot of weight, like playing another version of Tommy
no,
Jarvis?
not at all.
Yeah.
I after I got the part, I went through and did some research, watched 1 through 5 to see. I was paying particular attention to Tommy Jarvis, and if he had any mannerisms I could bring over to part 6, or any quirks or anything else, but nothing really stood out. So, and that was it.
The actor.
Well,
I want to comment on what he just said. So as a veteran actor in the cast, because I was older than all of these kids, working with Tom was great for me. I learned a lot from him as an actor. He really applied himself in a way that I thought, this freaking guy is taking this serious, because I always thought, you know, politicians, they're a little goofy, aren't they? But I'm goofy. So I didn't realize that he had, like what he just described, a methodology to approach this. And in doing that, he shared it with all of us,
Yeah.
you know? So thank you, Tom.
Thank you.
I'm blowing smoke up your ass here.
I approach every role very serious, as a drama, even comedies as a drama, because that honest humor is the funniest humor, as opposed to slapstick.
I agree.
Thank you.
The other thing too, for any aspiring writers, you've got to make sure your lead character is taking action. As much as I thought John Shepherd was great in the previous movie, he was sort of passive. He wasn't just kind of propelling the movie forward. He was, you know, every choice was about fixing, doing something, and that's so important when you're writing, to make sure that this causes this to happen, and this, and this, and this, all the way to the end. And you think he's gonna say today, nope, the girl comes in and, you know, pulls him up and gets him back. So, you know, we had final guy, final girl on this one. But it's, again, just knowing that there's certain rules you have to maintain for the audience to care, you know, on that ride.
if it ain't on the page, it ain't on the stage, you know?
You know, to say something else to what, I just lost my thought. No,
There it is.
to say something else to what he did, I'll come back.
We'll have Darcy.
Actually, Darcy, we almost saw you before in the franchise, so better late than never. Tell us about that as
Well,
well.
I know some of you have heard this story so many times, it's getting boring, but for those of you who haven't, I was hired for part 5, and, you know, I did the 3 auditions, and then I went in for the wardrobe and signed the contracts, and the director was like, so, we need to talk about the script tonight. I'd like to discuss your part with you, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, first of all, it's Halloween. I just got the script, I hadn't read it yet, so what is there to discuss? And the next day I didn't have a job.
What?
So,
It was a date.
so, yeah, so, his excuse was I wasn't well enough endowed, and then he hired the other girl that that was in part 5. In the script, there were shears in my eyes and I'm running through the woods naked. And I was like, oh, thank God I didn't get that role. Oh my God. So then when part 6 came, Fern and Pamela are like, pretend like you never met Frank Mancuso before because we're bringing you back. So went in, met Tommy, and got hired. And then in part 7, they used my death with being pushed through the mirror into the Winnebago in the opening sequence. So I got paid for 3 of them.
Nice.
Well, nothing.
That was done underwater, right? That effect?
That's you.
Seen that kind of lumping thing, but I thought, there's gotta be something more Terminator-like, because we've electrified him. And so CJ was my second choice. So unfortunately, about 3 days in, Paramount saw the dailies, and they went, we're replacing him. I go, what? Yeah, no, Dan Bradley's out, get your second choice. So CJ came in, and I was really sad that, this is what happened to Dan, because I know he was trying, but unfortunately, the producer's sister was the costumer, and she's going, I can't stretch this shit any further. So the combination of that, Dan went bye-bye. But Dan Bradley went on to be probably the most famous second unit director, in the history of action movies. Born Identity and the Bond movies and all that.
So we don't feel that.
I feel bad.
No, you don't pay. You don't pay.
But CJ, he came in and CJ was ex-military.
Yeah.
So anything I said, yes, sir. And he moved and he talked that way. And we got a stunt coordinator who was Mike,
Yeah.
what was his name? Mike Nomad,
Yeah.
who was his sidekick in the movie. But CJ wanted to do all his own stuff. So that near miss on Nancy was purely a military, you see your target, and even though I told him, put it here, he sees it, and he just involuntarily went with her. And so unfortunately, it went, right, just missed her.
Oh.
He said unfortunately.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I did catch that.
First of all, I just want to come hang out in your attic. I saw the video.
Oh.
Yeah, I'll move in. I'll pay rent. But for everybody, what is a favorite kill of yours from the franchise that's not from part 6?
Oh.
Not part 6.
We're a little partial.
Yeah.
We refuse.
No, the sheriff's death from part 6 is
Oh,
just
yeah.
amazing death. I saw it in dailies, and I always wanted Tom to do a director's cut, because what you guys have seen is like the last 3/4 of it. I saw the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh.
No music, no sound effects, and it was chilling just watching and it was so simply done. It was just brilliant.
I like Marcy's. Darcy.
No, he said not in person.
Oh,
But it's,
shit.
it can see part 6.
Conversation.
Because
We're
I
gonna
think
do
we
part
all know
six.
6 better than the other.
Yeah. I liked her kill, because I liked the face and the impression going through the plastic, and how, frightening that was, that the power behind that was pure evil.
And the whole fight leading up to it, which you did,
Yeah.
did great by the way. But
Yeah, no stunt double
the
there.
whole, but he's holding her and she's kicking. So
I believe I have the longest fight scene with Jason out of any of the females from the franchise. There is one guy that fights with them for like 3 minutes.
On top of the building,
rooftop,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But, because I thought I had the longest, and then I saw part 8 and I went, oh, shoot. Okay, female.
The
I
real
like the
shit-
first part of your question about wanting to check out his attic. Is that true what you did with the tombstone?
Oh, do tell.
Maybe?
Well, the tombstone's in the backyard for people when they go, holy shit. Because it's a real tombstone.
Yeah.
Because it was cheaper to have a real tombstone made in Georgia than to have a phony, foam, styrofoam one sent from here. So I wanted that, and I wanted his coffin. So the coffin is up in the attic. Currently, Wolfman is in, the Lon Chaney version of Wolfman is sitting and laying inside of it. But I've collected all this stuff over the years. So some from my movies, not a lot. Couldn't get Jason's mask; they were all gone by the time we wrapped. People grabbed them.
Someone told you that they didn't let you keep the bear from prophecy? I know.
I got the spear that went into my eye.
Oh, okay.
So, or not the spear, the arrow, broken arrow, and the Raymar's face plate from Crypt Blade, from that movie. So it's all little stuff. But I'm a geek every year when Spirit's door opens, Home Depot. I'm going, all right, what am I paying with it? Because I want to look for the cool ones, because I bring all this shit out on my front lawn, and with lighting and fog, and, you know, one time it's a full-on show, and we had like over 300 people last year that just stood out on
Wow.
the sidewalk, you know.
And on Halloween,
On
Yes.
Halloween.
And his wishing well turns into a cauldron. And there's real fire coming from his house, and horns sticking out of this fairy tale. It's,
Are you kidding me? I hope they make the list, I hope I make the list of that Halloween party.